August 1942. Stalingrad stands on the banks of the Volga, a city transformed into a battlefield. Smoke clouds the sky, artillery shakes the earth, and streets lie in ruins. Soldiers move cautiously through shattered buildings, knowing a single misstep could be their last. Bombs reduce entire neighborhoods to rubble within moments. Snipers wait in ruined rooftops, and every corner is a trap. Civilians hide in basements, their faces pale with hunger, yet their resolve unbroken. Winter approaches, bringing freezing winds that seep into bones, adding suffering to an already relentless struggle. The German Sixth Army advances with ruthless precision, but the Soviets fight with unyielding determination, turning factories, homes, and streets into fortresses. Stalingrad is no longer just a city. It is a crucible of survival, courage, and desperation. Here, the fate of armies and the course of World War II will be decided in a battle whose legacy will endure forever. By the summer of 1942, Nazi Germany had conquered vast swaths of Europe. Hitler's ambition was immense: seize the oil fields of the Caucasus, cripple Soviet industry, and destroy the Soviet Union in one decisive blow. Stalingrad, perched on the banks of the Volga River, became both a strategic target and a symbol of Soviet resistance. Capturing it would secure river transport, cut off supply lines, and deliver a personal humiliation to Stalin himself. The German Sixth Army, under General Friedrich Paulus, advanced with mechanical efficiency. Tanks rolled across open plains, artillery pounded Soviet positions, and Luftwaffe bombers unleashed waves of destruction, leveling entire neighborhoods within minutes. The Germans anticipated a swift victory, expecting the Soviet defenders to crumble under their relentless assault, but the Soviets had fortified the city beyond imagination. Stalin's order number 227, known as "not a step back," demanded total defense. Factories, apartment blocks, and public buildings were converted into defensive positions. Civilians were mobilized to support the army, making weapons, building barricades, and guiding soldiers through hidden passages. Engineers dug trenches and laid traps across the city. Snipers perched on rooftops, turning every window into a lethal vantage point. Stalingrad became a maze where every street, every corner, every ruined building had strategic significance. The German advance collided with Soviet tenacity. Small squads of Soviet soldiers held entire blocks against overwhelming forces, often using ingenuity to compensate for inferior numbers and resources. Civilians scavenged for food, carried supplies under fire, and kept morale alive amidst chaos. The first clashes erupted in August, signaling the start of a struggle that would last 6 months, claiming millions of lives and testing the limits of human endurance. The stage was set for a battle that would become a legend in human history, where courage and desperation would collide amidst the rubble of a city named after a leader but defended by the spirit of its people. As August turned to September 1942, the German Sixth Army intensified its assault. Bombers from the Luftwaffe rained fire upon the city, leveling factories, schools, and hospitals. Streets transformed into deadly corridors, where movement was measured in seconds. Tanks and infantry advanced in coordination, attempting to crush Soviet resistance block by block. Yet, the Soviets had fortified every inch. Buildings were rigged with explosives, basements became command centers, and every rooftop could conceal a sniper ready to strike. Urban warfare defined Stalingrad. Soldiers fought for individual rooms, staircases, and streets. German advances were met with ambushes, machine gun fire, and close-quarter combat. Civilians, many of whom were women and children, played a critical role, carrying supplies, guiding troops through hidden pathways, and providing intelligence about German positions. Life in Stalingrad had become a struggle for survival against an enemy determined to annihilate the city. As the battle raged, winter approached. The cold seeped into every building, freezing fingers and toes, and making simple survival a daily challenge. Yet, neither side relented. The Soviets employed ingenious tactics, using the rubble of their own city to their advantage. while German forces relied on sheer firepower and discipline to advance. Casualties mounted daily. Entire units vanished, swallowed by collapsing buildings or relentless artillery fire. Yet the city did not yield. Each street taken by the Germans was fiercely contested, often reclaimed by Soviet counterattacks within hours. By late September, Stalingrad had become more than a military objective. It was a symbol. For the Soviets, every block held represented resistance against the invader. For the Germans, capturing the city became a test of their discipline and resolve. In this crucible of fire, strategy met survival, and the human spirit was tested in ways few could imagine. The stage was set for the turning point that would decide the fate of armies and the future of the Eastern Front. By October 1942, Stalingrad had descended into a city of death and rubble. Factories became fortresses, apartment blocks transformed into battlefields, and basements doubled as hospitals and command posts. Soviet soldiers, often outnumbered, held positions with relentless determination. Every room, every doorway, every corner was contested. Hand-to-hand combat became common, as bullets and artillery could no longer decide the outcome in narrow streets. Civilians endured alongside soldiers. Families scavenged for food amidst the ruins, carrying it through streets littered with bodies and debris. Freezing temperatures claimed more lives than bullets for many, and yet the defenders held their ground. Stories from the front lines tell of small squads holding entire streets, snipers picking off advancing troops from hidden vantage points, and soldiers risking everything to save wounded comrades from the ruins. As winter arrived, conditions worsened. Frostbite, starvation, and disease ran rampant. Soldiers burned rubble and furniture to keep warm while constantly facing German artillery bombardments. Yet the Soviet forces remained resilient, counterattacking whenever possible. The Germans, trapped in some areas by stubborn resistance, found themselves bogged down in a grinding urban battle that drained resources and morale. Stalingrad had become a test of endurance and ingenuity, a city where strategy, human spirit, and sheer willpower collided. By November, both sides had suffered massive losses, but the Soviets, benefiting from reinforcements and the knowledge of the terrain, were preparing a decisive counterstrike. The stage was set for Operation Uranus, a bold maneuver that would change the course of the battle and the war itself. November 1942 marked the beginning of Operation Uranus, the Soviet counteroffensive designed to encircle the German Sixth Army. Soviet forces attacked from the north and south simultaneously, cutting off supply lines and trapping nearly 300,000 German soldiers in the city they had fought so desperately to capture. The encirclement transformed Stalingrad from a city of battle into a tomb for the German army. Inside the pocket, conditions deteriorated rapidly. Supplies were scarce, food and ammunition ran out, frostbite and disease claimed thousands. General Paulus and his commanders appealed for a breakout or relief, but Hitler forbade retreat, demanding the Sixth Army hold its positions at all costs. The trapped soldiers faced not only relentless Soviet attacks, but starvation, freezing temperatures, and the psychological toll of hopelessness. For the Soviets, the encirclement represented both opportunity and challenge. They tightened the noose around the German positions, engaging in intense street fighting and systematically reducing resistance block by block. The Germans, cut off from reinforcements and supplies, began to surrender in groups. Stalingrad was becoming the stage for one of the most decisive moments of the war. Operation Uranus demonstrated Soviet planning and resilience. The trap was complete, and the Sixth Army's fate was sealed. Months of struggle, sacrifice, and determination would culminate in a surrender that changed the course of World War II forever. By February 1943, the German Sixth Army, starving, freezing, and exhausted, finally surrendered. General Paulus, once the commander of a feared force, walked into captivity. The city lay in ruins. Nearly 2 million soldiers and civilians had perished. Streets were unrecognizable, buildings reduced to rubble, and the air thick with smoke and memories of battle. The surrender marked a decisive turning point on the Eastern Front. The myth of German invincibility was shattered, and Soviet morale surged. Stalingrad became more than a military victory. It became a symbol of human resilience, courage, and the unyielding spirit of a people defending their homeland. The city would rise again from the ashes, rebuilt and renewed. But the scars of battle and the stories of sacrifice and endurance remain forever etched in history. Stalingrad serves as a testament to the extremes of human endurance, the cost of war, and the power of determination. The battle's legacy endures, reminding the world of the price paid for survival, courage, and victory. Stalingrad, a city of ruins, a battlefield of legends, and the turning point that changed the course of history forever.